What's up, guys? It's Chris Mull and Andrew Martin. It's the Union Report out here at Cardinale Stadium. How you doing this afternoon, Andrew?
I'm luxuriating in the sun. It's beautiful out here.
It really is, and just want to give a special birthday shout out to one of our fine goalkeepers, Dallas Odell. So hopefully he's enjoying his birthday today. And then I guess right off the bat, we're going to jump to the bottom because big news is literally being announced probably right now, and that is
Monterey Bay has a new player. We have acquired, it sounds like, Johnny Klein, an attacking midfielder. I think that's the proper position that he plays at from Charleston. He's a 25-year-old, comes to us from Charleston. He has MLS experience, played parts of 2 seasons for St. Louis. Anything else that you can think of regarding the initial info and stats about him that we know of?
No, I'm excited, always excited to see a new player hit the pitch in the crisp and kelp, and just kind of thinking about, in my mind, all of a sudden, I'm like, where does he slot in Jordan's lineups? All that kind of stuff comes to mind. Having not seen a ton of film, not as much film as our stat department right here. That's you. You're the stat department.
And I can give a little overview on
Yeah,
that.
definitely. Please do.
Yeah, so he's a St. Louis guy. His dad and his grandpa both are from St. Louis, both with backgrounds in St. Louis, playing for the university, or St. Louis University. It's not the University of St. Louis. His dad played professional indoor soccer and is like a longtime coach. Soccer just runs apparently through his blood. He's a smaller guy, about 5'7" or so, but plays really gritty. And just studying the film, this is certainly not an equal comparison, but just think, we were talking about it earlier, kind of think Sam Gleadle with like a James Murphy kind of attitude to him. He plays really gritty. He's a big distributor. His best seasons as a pro so far came in 23 and 24, playing for MLS Next Pro. He had somewhere in the neighborhood of I want to say about 20 goals and about 15 assists total during that time. So he's all over the pitch. He likes to handle the ball, likes to distribute. He should be, I think, really key in that 15 to 25 yard zone outside of the opponent's goal.
Okay.
And I'm really excited to see what he can do in terms of not only scoring a goal or two, but maybe setting up some teammates as well.
Yeah, definitely. I always like to look at the chances created stat for some of these players, which I haven't had a chance since literally announcement is like at the same time that we're going live. But for me, that's a big one because we do have fairly robust options up front, but adding someone that can not only strike the ball with some fury and play with some grit, but also, isn't afraid to let a teammate finish one off. So that's going to be huge, I think, for Jordan. And it's our understanding that he's already been working out a little bit with the squad. So
and will be available for selection tomorrow evening against Tulsa.
Tulsa, yeah. So that's exciting news. I'm always reassured by the club when they're looking to make improvements mid-season. And so really psyched about Johnny and looking forward to seeing him out there and what he can bring to the squad overall.
Yeah, in particular, I think that as time has gone on this season, Elijah Paul and Anton Soyberg have really shown a flair for getting shots off around the goal.
Yeah.
But without having that kind of professional distributor in that area, so to speak, they've had to fend off, I think, more double teams and that sort of thing. And having a player like Klein may potentially open that up and make it a little bit easier for them to operate. So it'll be interesting to see if that translates into some more goals for them or if that changes things for them.
Awesome. Well, only time will tell, I guess, for Mr. Johnny Klein. But welcome aboard. Welcome to the Union, and we look forward to having him in the interview seat, not too in the near distant future there. Yeah. So wanted to kind of shift gears. You did talk about Tulsa, and so over the next 4 days, we're going to play the number 1 and number 2 teams in the Western Conference in Tulsa, and Sacramento. So we touched on this last week, talked a little bit about Tulsa and how they have really put their foot on the gas. And so currently they're in their last 5, they're 3-0-2, which is a pretty good form. What are you looking for tomorrow night? I mean, are you thinking Johnny Klein's probably going to be subbed in? That's my thought, is we'll probably see him subbed in.
To be honest, I wouldn't even be surprised to see him start.
Oh, really?
We'll see. I think absolutely we'll see him play, but I wouldn't be surprised to, have them put their new toy out on the field and see what he can do right off the bat. But who knows?
Yeah, well, obviously fitness is not going to be a concern. He's coming from a club, so this is mid-season, so he should be in peak condition. So that should be interesting. What about Tulsa, Andrew Martin of the Union Report? What about Tulsa has intrigued you as far as their performance and kind of a rise into first place lately?
It's really, I think that they've come together as a unit. I don't know that they necessarily had a ton of huge turnover from last year, but they're seeing much better results this year than last. And I guess you could maybe attribute that just to things gelling, which is always what you want to see from a club, especially when there's a big turnover.
Gelling like Magellan. I don't know if you guys remember that old Dr. Scholl's commercial, but so that is going to be a test for sure. And again, like we said last week, I felt like we played well at Tulsa. We just didn't get the result we were hoping for.
Yep.
And so looking forward to hopefully avenging that tomorrow night, get 3 points at home. And then, I mean, in the blink of an eye, we pile on the bus and the squad goes up to Sacramento on Saturday to take on those guys. Yeah, those guys.
Yeah, and Sacramento's been red hot themselves. They have been kind of floating around towards the bottom of the table, and then all of a sudden, here they are. I believe they're tied for second with San Antonio, but they've really made a big push the last month or so.
They just took San Antonio out to the woodshed, though, right?
Yeah.
They just played, and it was like, what was this final score, like 4-1 or something?
Yeah, I think so.
It was like a thrashing, man.
Yeah. The Western Conference has just been totally wild this year. We have it on our sheet here, but
Yeah.
I mean, where Monterey Bay sits right now, we're literally 5 points out of second place, and we're 4 points above last place. And so there's just this massive clustering of the vast majority of the conference that could literally be hosting a playoff game at the end of the season or be in last place,
Yes.
unless we have like some significant movement, which we will. But as of right now, that has not occurred.
Yeah, I think just looking at early on in the season, Sacramento below the line, and I don't think they were worried. Knowing Sac Republic and knowing the pedigree of that team and organization, I don't think they were worried, but I was very encouraged by our preseason game against Sac Republic, in which we beat them. And I know we can do it. We've always fared really well going up to Heart Health Park. And so I'm hopeful that we can steal 3 points on the road. That would be massive for us, especially against a team that's in such hot form. They are currently 4-0-1 in their last 5, so that's almost as hot as you can possibly be playing.
Yeah, so it sounds like both Tulsa and Sacramento are due for a loss. So maybe they're each due for a loss, which we'd like. But Sacramento, what they've done, kind of really powering themselves up from the bottom up towards the top so quickly, shows how quickly it can be done in this league.
Yeah.
And we're hoping for something similar from Monterey Bay.
Absolutely, yeah. Our current form, not the best, 1-4-0, which is definitely not great. Could be worse, but not much. But on the bright side, we know that Jordan Stewart has been working hard. The front office has been working hard, getting guys plugged in, making sure that they are watching film, practicing specifically for these upcoming opponents and their specific styles. And so I'm fairly confident 6 points by Sunday. So that's my official guess at how many points we come away with in the next 4 days. But anything you think that has been missing for the Union as far as goal production or anything like that you feel like was a spot where we could just turn it around and it makes the whole thing correct?
Yeah, we went through a little stretch earlier in the season where we were really searching for goals anywhere, and I think the last month or so we're starting to kind of slowly come out of that, and we've gotten some regular goal contributions. But earlier in the year we had several games where multiple goals almost seemed to be the norm or the expected, and I'd love to get back to that again. That always takes pressure off the defense and really puts the pressure on the opponent, forcing them to come up with 2-3 goals to even get a draw. So I'd love to see that turned around. I think we have players that have demonstrated that they can put the ball in the back of the net, and then adding a distributor and a playmaker like Klein, it'll be interesting to see once he's plugged in what he can bring to that mix.
Yeah, and man, it seems like a couple of years ago we'd always bring these baseball analogies out because we were just always saying how we were baseball guys, but I feel like a footy guy now.
Yeah.
But I am going to bring back a baseball analogy. It's almost like a pitcher who's pitching with a comfortable lead. He's able to take a little bit more risk. Maybe he's not as tight. He can loosen up just enough to where he's confident in throwing those pitches that maybe he'd nibble a little more around the strike zone, and now he's just, banging his spots. And so I'm hopeful as well that if we can get 2 or 3 and take some of the pressure off the defense, like you said, these guys will kind of loosen up a little bit.
Yeah, confidence breeds confidence.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And we've seen it before when we have a comfortable lead, all of a sudden the flare starts coming out. Guys are doing double and triple step over moves and all kinds of stuff. And so looking forward to seeing that. It's not going to be an easy road with how Tulsa and Sacramento are playing. In fact, I expect 2 fairly gritty matches, just because, hey, summer's kind of winding down. We're coming into the home stretch here, and everybody wants to secure a playoff spot. So,
but entering Wednesday, we're still sitting in a playoff spot at the moment.
Yep.
So even if these 2 matches don't yield 6 points, I'm hoping and expecting that they will. But there's still a lot of soccer to be played, and I think they just got to keep their mind on that confidence and building momentum, one block at a time, like they've been doing. So.
Exactly. And we haven't been out of a playoff spot all season. I'd like to keep it that way.
Yep.
I know, obviously, the last couple of years, it's come down to the wire, and our destiny wasn't in our own hands anymore. We were relying on some key losses, some other upsets across the Western Conference. And my hope is that we can get into a spot where we're in control of our own destiny and kind of stay there. And so wanted to also, we talked about this a little bit last week, but the return of Nico Campuzano and Elijah Paul to the lineup. Hopefully. We don't know for sure what the lineup is.
I think we've seen both, though, on the pitch and practice photos that have been put on social media, kind of, at least to me, indicating that they've been playing. So hoping that they're going to be out there.
And there was no injuries reported, so we're fully expecting to see both of them back out there. If I have to go down to Jordan's office, I'll do it, man. I'll do it. But just kidding. I know that Jordan has the best mind for this. He knows these guys better than anyone else, and so he's going to roll out a really great lineup for these next couple of matches. But we're looking forward to seeing them back. And then also want to talk about Mael Malongo and the World Cup qualifiers. Do you want to expound on that a little bit, Andrew Martin of the Union Report?
Yeah, so we know just from what's been reported in the news that Mael had been approached by Malawi, his home nation, to play in the World Cup qualifiers and potentially next year's World Cup. The World Cup qualifiers take place, I believe it's later this month and then into September. Does that sound correct to you?
It sounds something to me. I don't know. I'm still working through Malawi. Is that different than Malawi? Are these
maybe
two?
it's the same.
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
in my brain now. Anyways, I'm sorry.
But when we talked to Mael a few weeks ago, he had indicated that playing for his home country in the World Cup would be like a top goal of his. To my knowledge, nothing official has been announced in terms of him actually doing that, but everything that I've heard around the soccer world indicates that he will, in fact, be doing that. So we'll wait and see if that is confirmed. But that would mean, of course, that he would be missing, I believe, several matches due to the international service. So that would be a big loss, given what he brings, his work on the outside, taking men off the dribble, that sort of thing, and also his size. But it's a fantastic opportunity that I would say most players aspire to. So if he does get that official call, we definitely wish him all the best for that.
Yeah, definitely. He is one of those guys like we've talked about. He commands a double team almost all the time. He's very aggressive, not afraid to take on a guy or two with the ball at the feet. And so that's why we call him Marshawn Malongo after beast mode, Marshawn Lynch, just because he's ready to go right through a wall if he needs to.
Yep.
And so...
Like the Kool-Aid man.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. Another thing that we wanted to discuss today was the transfer window. It looks like the transfer window is opened up till August 23rd.
I believe that's the date I saw. August. It's the secondary transfer window, so it's a few weeks to let teams get their rosters situations set for the home stretch.
Okay, and so are you feeling like we're going to see any more movement here out in the Monterey Bay?
I think it's certainly possible, only because I believe that the culture that's been brought in by Jordan and how the club is working together right now, if they believe that they can improve the club in any reasonable way and they have that opportunity to do so, I think that they'll pursue it. Who knows if they have anyone specific in mind or if any opportunity will come their way, but I think it would certainly be possible because they've talked about it all year. They want playoffs. We're certainly kind of on the cusp of that right now, and so I'm sure they'll do anything they can to try to bring that home.
Yeah, now do you think that they would be looking, for me personally, I think they'd be looking for someone with veteran experience, championship pedigree. Is that what you're thinking, or you think they're going to stay with the youth movement and look for possibly an untested younger player?
Yeah, I mean, anything's possible, but I would think during this time of year, I would agree with your assessment. Now is not necessarily the time to be bringing on someone that's untested. So if they do identify someone or some people that they think can make a difference, I would tend to believe it's someone that's more established that can offer something like that. I think that the off season is more of a better time to bring in those prospects, or if you're like so far out of it that you have no hope of being above the line, perhaps that's another opportunity to do that if you have a good young player made available. But I would assume that they're going to be targeting veteran players if they're looking at bringing anyone else in.
So quite possibly Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo or some names.
Those type of players.
Yeah, I've heard the insider information. I've heard those names floated around the clubhouse a time or two. Just kidding, never heard that ever. But yeah, looking forward to seeing what the leadership is going to try and put together to make this playoff push. And we talk about it once, we'll talk about it until we find out the result, but there is serious money on the line for the club,
right?
Not making the playoffs versus making the playoffs with the agreement to season ticket holders. And so I've been thoroughly impressed with the leadership and the direction that the club has gone. I feel like the culture of the team is like almost complete 180 from what we've seen, and so I'm excited to see when they lay their cards down on the table what ends up happening. So
yeah. And tomorrow night's hospitality. Is it hospitality and something else, or just hospitality night?
Hospitality for sure. Not 100%. Yeah. My
But it's an appreciation night here at Cardinale.
Yeah.
definitely, as always, recommend getting tickets. We're going to be playing a top-notch team.
Yep.
I believe the weather's going to be pretty similar to this. Summer's getting on, so come on out here.
Yeah, definitely make sure you guys get your tickets, get in early, enjoy the festivities for hospitality night. And if there's something else along with hospitality I've forgotten, because my promotional calendar is not here right now.
Yeah, but it'll be just an added benefit.
Yeah, exactly. So come on out to Cardinale Stadium tomorrow. That's a 7 p.m. kickoff.
7 p.m. kickoff. Yeah.
And we're taking on the #1 team in the Western Conference, Tulsa. So
new guy likely playing. Get to check him out.
exactly. So I mean, that's like 5 things right there you don't want to miss tomorrow. And so I think that's all that we have for today. So, Andrew, any parting words?
No, I just wanted to give a shout out to Vermont Green, who won the USL League 2 championship this weekend. Of course, I support our MBFC 2 guys who are in the same league, but Vermont Green play at my alma mater, University of Vermont, and they had a pretty awesome win against Ballard to take the championship in front of a huge crowd. So that was fun to watch. So shout out to them.
Yeah, at the Bernie Bow.
Yeah.
That was, hey, no matter which way politically you lean, you gotta love when the supporter groups like just pull it together with that much like gusto.
Yeah.
I was impressed. So I love to see soccer growing in the United States across the entire landscape. And so congratulations there. And hope you guys will join us next time. I'm Chris Moulton. This is
Andrew Martin.
And this is the Union Report.